Jason, Mildura, for those that don't know, I know it well. It used to be a bit further up from where I live, but it's 550 kilometres away from Melbourne. How long has it been since Mildura had a confirmed COVID case?
I'll just say good day, Peter, first. I know you're from Birchip, I believe, so we're from a wonderful part of the world.
A Witchyproof.
I think it's a Witchyproof, sorry, I apologise. I know everybody's quite territorial in the Mallee, so that's a good thing. But I think it's been about 13 months for us. It's been quite difficult, and it is really that difficult line to walk in regard to balancing and to try and keep cases as down as much as we can, but also trying to live a reasonably normal life for a region, as you said, that's 550 kilometres away. It's been over a year since we've had a case.
Yeah, and then, look, as I said, again, there's no case right now anywhere in regional Victoria. Have you been having discussions with the state government about treating regional Victoria differently than Melbourne?
Yes, we have, and there was a new council was voted in November, and I believe there was a push to have regional Victoria treated differently if there was no cases from last year. And after the Valentine's Day lockdown, we also wrote to both the Prime Minister and the Premier, engaging them to consider what it's like for our communities. We are a long way away. We do have a lot of people who live on, I think 23% of our population live on less than $650 a week. So there are issues there. So every time we don't get to trade, things don't go that well. Plus also the emotional and the psychological issues that come through when we haven't been able to participate in our lives when there hasn't been that case there, Peter.
I want to ask you about another issue, because I know it's a big horticultural area up your way. There's been a lot of talk about areas struggling to get workers. What's been the experience of your local growers, Jason?
It's been a really interesting year. There was quite an increase in the cost to have a box of fresh fruit particularly picked. It nearly doubled. I think it was $3.50 a box last year, and it's gone up to over $7 this year. I think most of people have managed through because, as you well know, people of the Mallee are very resilient and they got things done. But this is an ongoing issue. I think, we need about 10,000 people in Mildura to pick our fresh fruit crop. And they can be backpackers, they can be people on 451 visas, they can be grey nomads coming through. So we do have those wonderful options, but sometimes it's just hard to fill those positions. And in a year like this year, it was even harder, but people did get through.
All right, what's your message to the acting Premier, Dan Molino, tonight? James Molino. Sorry, I'm getting them confused.
James
Molino, what do you want to say to him tonight?
Oh, well, Mr. Molino, as we've requested, I'm actually the chair of the Murray River Group of Councils too, which is Yarrawonga through to the South Australian border. We also drafted a letter talking about the impact on our community. If we don't have a case, we'd really like to be considered as an, I shouldn't say an independent state, that's near secession, Peter, but to be considered in a different way because we haven't had any cases and because of our unique relationship at the north of the state with our connection to South Australia and New South Wales. Baronga and Mildura are exchangeable. Sometimes the bridge, last year, it was quite a lot to get through. And as your previous guest was saying, it's very labour intensive, but I would love to see the three tiers of government working together for the benefit of the communities in Melbourne that do have the cases, but also for the benefit of the Northern Mallee up in Mildura, so we could go about our business. But as I would say too, that if we had a case, we would fall into line immediately. But if we haven't, we would just like to be considered as a unique area in this situation.